We have the honor to introduce our speaker. So Dato George Lim Soo Chong, he is the founder and CEO of G&E Group since 1999. He qualified as Chartered Accountant from New Zealand in 1994 and Malaysian Institute of Accountants in 1997. He has the license as approved auditors and tax agent, with more than 30 years experience in the audit practice and extensive experience in business consultancy services and tax works. In 2013 until 2016, he completed his executive MBA degree at Hult International Business School, which is ranked as the top 20 business school in the world. He believes that business cannot be prosper in communities that failed. In 2016, he founded GA Space as a platform to empower entrepreneurs through education and networking with mission to achieve a sustainable entrepreneur community of more than 200,000 people. Dato George has been actively servicing local communities through Rotary Club International for more than 20 years and chartered a Mandarin Club back in 2015 until now. Dato George elected as the National Vice President and Sabah State Chairman of Malaysia Entrepreneurs Development Association in 2019 until now, as a unique community platform to educate and provide networking for entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. Dato George is a regular speaker on innovative entrepreneurship, enabling small and medium businesses to adapt and capitalize on the global digital economy. In 2019, he joined Vistage International and trained as a business coach to lead a group of courageous entrepreneurs impacting their business communities. So without further ado, let us welcome Dato George Lim Soo Chong to deliver his next talk, Leading Global Entrepreneurship. Please welcome.
Okay, I'm going to share my slide.
Boleh ya, Dato'?
Okay. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me put it in the PowerPoint mode. Okay, good.
Okay, Crystal. Nice.
Right. So I think the topic, thank you, Dr. Fatima and Dr. Jacqueline and the rest of the participants for giving me this opportunity. And the title given was Bridging Community Leading Business Towards Global Entrepreneurship. Because using the word global entrepreneurship, I would thought of who are the well-known research into not only the Fortune 500 company, also the SME. What are those company address their issue? For example, when they started, how do they address the issue they want to solve, and why are some company fail, and what are the things they need to focus, and always it's hard to balance between the strategy they have and the lack of willpower for implementation. So they're struggling between the two, and also the facts, they are too much logical mindset compared to another person of having faith in what they are doing, that they will believe that they will prevail at the end. And in the journey of entrepreneurship, they were facing all kinds of fears surrounded them, and there might be things that stop them from moving forward. What are those things? What should they prioritize in moving forward? So these are some of the entrepreneur mindset we're going to address today. Of course, we are talking about the community that we spoke about is a community that is not in the city. So I also brought up in a very poor community myself, and I at that time, whenever I do my SRP or SPM, I always my mother always told me that I will find an excuse not to go to the exam, So I didn't get through my SPM, and it's through a lot of hard work before I can graduate in in the age of 26 years old, a lot of struggle. So I know how poor how education can affect our life, you know, and it took a lot of hard work that I managed to get through my education. A lot of willpower are throwing into it, a lot of encouragement by the family, and not only that, a lot of belief, the faith we have in whatever religious we believe in. Let's start a journey of entrepreneurship. And of course, now if you're talking about entrepreneurship, is all being unclear. So is it a good time to start, or we have to hold on first? This is very unclear. If we were to start, what happened with the recent survey given to us? And the surveys, today we look at among the CEOs, looking at what is laid before us, is 24% of the business will change forever. So if there are so much changes in the world today, entrepreneur, what type of entrepreneur, what type of quality of entrepreneur we need to face these challenges, especially in Sabah. Most of our business are directly or indirectly related to tourism. So we're going to address this issue. We will not address issue 45% of the business will return to normal 2022, but I think the issue of 20% business may change forever. Going back to the early community empowerment in health, there could be an opportunity for entrepreneur to bring the rural health awareness. It could be a business opportunity, but the challenge, it will be a cultural changes. But if you are looking at long term, it's a hard decision, it's a hard investment, but it will prevail at the end, because this is what the opportunity we have to educate the rural area to have a healthy lifestyle. And of course, with the healthy lifestyle they have, the poverty rate will go down, and then there will be more healthy mindset for them to address all this issue in the area they live. By addressing 24% of business will change forever, we're looking at a few books that, as you can see, from BE, Beyond Entrepreneurs 2.0, coming out this year. Built to Last, Good to Great, Great by Choice, How the Mighty Fall, and Turning the Flying Wheel. It's 30 years of rigorous research into more than 1,000 companies. Why some companies make a leap and other don't. The sale exceeding 4 million copies, not only used in the business, but in the social sector. For business that will change forever, means 44 of the business will collapse. I will address first of all whether they have the vision. It's not I think a layer of I on the top. It will address the vision. And for the vision, first of all, we have to look at, for business you are about to start, you look at how do you win, because not only you are involved in the business, how do you win, and then what are resources and strategy available. And Jim Collins always address about your dream, your core value, and your behind, which is your big dream. And then after you have the vision and the core value and your behind, the next we'll look at what do you need to do now. The concept of first who, then what, and the hedgehog concept, and the bullet and the cannonball. And then we'll end the discussion with 20-mile march. Okay, so the vision. What is your vision? If your business are not able to proceed at the moment, can you go back to your vision and address some of the question here? Okay, so those are the questions you are addressing is who are your customer? What differentiates you from the competitor? Where do you see an organization in the long term, not in the short term, 10 to 30 years? And so now bring up your vision. After the vision, you'll be looking at your core value. What are the value you are about to preserve that you will prevail at the end? In this uncertainty moment, we need to able to preserve the value. What are the 4 core value you are preserving? Core value is about the culture, the DNA of the company. What are those areas that you're able to make your company different from others? What are the practicing you have right now? What are the team practices that they have to make the company from good to great? It's about preserving the core and at the same time stimulate the progress. So before any goal setting or strategy, preserve, understand your core value and your core purpose first. And in Southwest Airlines, what are their value they are preserving? Number 1 is to live as a warrior spirit, not giving up. And second, a servant heart, treat others with respect, and fun-loving attitude to celebrate success. And work in Southwest way is to able to work safely, follow all the standard operating procedure, wow our customer, deliver a world-class hospitality, keep the cost low, is to find a better way to do the business. So these are the core value. As we go back to the core value we are doing, we can innovate and progress in the uncertain circumstances that we're facing now. First, we have our vision, then we have a core value, and what is next? It's about what our big goal, big dream that we want to achieve. Just like the group of the mountaineers trying to reach out to the vision. Today, your goal might be a smaller mountain like Bukit Padang, and tomorrow, 5 years from now, it could be Mount Kinabalu, and 10 to 30 years, it could be Mount Everest. So what is your Everest goal? So in 1950, Sony have a vision to become the company most well known for changing the worldwide poor quality image of Japanese product. So to your guess, how many years it took Sony to become a world-class player? Exactly 30 years. So Sony Walkman came out at the time. So with the vision and the core value is what do you want to achieve in the long term, in 10 to 30 years. If you look at things happening now, if you look at very short-term goal, it will be difficult. But along the way, if you set a goal long enough to achieve something that is purposeful, something that want to do, and this is what an entrepreneur should look for. So back to the community, I think if we have an issue there, we should look at a long term, not a short term growth. If you take a generation to solve the problem, but the problem progressively will be solved at the end. And I look at some of the strategy. Once you have the vision, the core value, and the goal, audacious goal. So I look at what type of strategy if we were to embark in the journey of my entrepreneurship, or I have scaled down my people now. I maintain the core team. How do I go about? What should I look at as I continue to embark a new journey of entrepreneurship? It used to be very successful because of the pandemic hit. The tourism industry have came down. So what type of strategy your business have scaled down 99%? If we were to use the 1% chances that you want to reach out to a 99% again, so what are the principles you can apply to restart your business? So I will introduce the concept by Jim Collins, first who, then what. So what is first who, then what? Do you have 90% of the right seat in the bus filled with the right people? So it's our principle to measure if you have the right team in your company or not. What type of KPI you use to measure the progress? Do you get the right people put on the right seat? The wrong people get off the bus. And in another book by Patrick, he will talk about humble, hungry, and smart. So what are the team players in your company? Are they humble? Are they hungry to solve an issue, or hungry to learn new things, or hungry to adapt? Or are they smart? So smart means people smart. So this is your ideal team player. Simon Sinek talked about the ideal team player is about whether who can you trust in your team. Are they trustworthy that this team will stay with you for the next 10 to 30 years in the journey of entrepreneurship? And how do you make sure they're able to perform? So using the principle of Patrick Linsoni, he first of all started with be vulnerable. It means putting trust, able to resolve conflict, and bring the commitment, have a common goal together, a clarity of what type of goal we want to achieve together. If we want to set a direction, do we have the commitment to see eye to eye on a goal that we want to achieve? And then how do we make sure that we help accountable to each other? Do we have the money meeting we have set for? Do we have the action plan that forces each one of us to accomplish different goals together? And of course, it will be a result-driven progress for the team to move forward. I think in team are so important, partly because just now we spoke about do you have 90% of the right people on the right seat? Then we move on to the ideal team player. Are they hungry, humble, and smart? And then we're talking about they should be trustworthy, and how to bring up them to be the high performance team, from having trust with them to result driven, And there is this this principle is about in the 19 20 and 2009, I think, for turnaround story. You look at the mindset they have is a collective leadership and individual accountability. So all these are different evidence and concept that are linking together is about leadership and accountability, and this is the key. The first thing first for entrepreneurship to look at is first who are the right, do you have the right people on your team? Then only decide what to do. So after the first who and then what, the next we're going to look at the hedgehog concept. What are the things you need to stop doing now? Because we're looking at the uncertainty and the pandemic time. So definitely there are a lot of things that we need to stop doing. But the next question is, what is the right thing to do? So let's look at the hedgehog concept by Jim Collins. So put the customer at the center of the equation rather than saving money and profit, and to build more product value that people want. And the hedgehog concept is about looking at what are the best things that you can do in this world. Are you passionate of doing it? And then what drive your economic engine? What drive your economic engine? Who will buy for optimal profit? Who will buy your service for optimal profit? And we use it another concept to make you to be more understandable is about what type of gift you're gifted to do in the business you want to start with, or as you continue to check, or as you continue to differentiate from your competitor, what are the areas you are gifted, and what are the things you are passionate to do? What are the things that you want to do every morning you get up? What are the things you first think of to do? To look at your handphone first, or to think of the problem you are about to solve, but yet to 100% solving? And what type of value you are creating, whether the customer value what you're creating or not. These three will be able to differentiate yourself from the others, or it could be a way to look at what are the problems not solved in the world. This is the three areas will help you to move into more strongly. So it's a calling to the society. It's a calling that this world needed you, because there are so much of inequality, there's so much of unemployment, and so much of health issue, and so much so that you felt compelled to answer the call. So there are some tools to help you to differentiate yourself. First, I think you can use a SWOT. You can use the chart here to look at who are your key customer, and you can look at what feature you're providing, what feature your competitor doing, from their design, from the pricing, from the quality, for the service lifetime. So to differentiate yourself from the competitor, and then you can analyze what are your best capability, which is what are the things you're gifted by using the activity map. As you can see from the activity map from Southwest Airlines, talking about which are the areas that customer most want in the activity, most differentiate themselves from the competitor. So in Southwest Airlines, the most promising airline in the world. So some of the outstanding came out, as you can look at the activity map. First, low price, convenient, on time, friendly services, and limited customer service. These are the area that that customer most value. So what are those most value services that you provide in the community you are about to serve? And of course, we have to go on extreme value creation. Is a continuation of value creation. So you can use the business model canvas to look at what else customer want in creating value to them, and then develop a product that they want, and then also to deliver a value that able to meet their requirement. So this is how we maintain a relationship with the customer. So keep innovating. Of course, from Starbucks coffee, you can see that they are only not selling coffee; they're selling an experience. So so this is what it's not the first day that they will selling experience, because it's a progression. It's a progression of what customer want. So important is to stay in the relationship with customer, knowing them what they want, and ultimately create something that they want, to create a feeling that the customer will want to come to Starbucks coffee. So it's not it's not about pricing. So coffee in Starbucks, it costs you more than 20 ringgit, but in the coffee shop it may cost you only 2 ringgit. So what makes that different is the customer experience, something that is more emotional buy than the cost they are paying. So we have finished on first who then what, and the hedgehog concept is to focus on what you're doing, and you're doing better than others. And the next we are looking at is a flying bullet and cannonball. So during this time, I think everyone, if you are continuing the journey to scale up to Mount Everest, first thing you ask yourself, what is your oxygen level? Do you have the oxygen, enough oxygen to reach out to the top or not? So in the business, is how much cash reserve you have. So every entrepreneur will need to make this decision ahead of the storm. Even we are in the storm, but then we still need to make that decision how much cash reserve, because the cash reserve will make sure how far can you walk right on the top of the mountain and come back to the ground. So Jim Collins used flying bullet and cannonball to decide your decision making. So but most companies fail in making a progress because they don't have the money. The bullet is a small money, cannonball is a big money. So company often fail, they don't fire enough bullet. As we continue to advance our journey and entrepreneurship, sometimes we have to reinvest into the business in order to make progress. But often entrepreneurs run out of money, partly because they use the money for other purposes, or they advance the money for their own personal needs. So the company have a good vision, a good core value, and a big goal, but fail to advance, partly because they use up the bullet for different purposes. Even they have the bullet, some they don't fire enough bullet. Why? Because they don't know what to fire. Some fire the bullet, but don't know how to make it big, which they don't fire bullet, follow up with a cannonball. And some entrepreneur fire the cannonball first, and they fail because they have used up the bullet. So as an entrepreneur, our money, our reinvest money, not every one of them will make progress. Some will make progress, some will not. But through our innovation, we have to try. We have to create value that customer want, but not every value customer will value it. but some they will value it, some they will not. So we have to have enough bullet to try out. Those who are valued by the customer, then we will follow up with the Cannonball. So in this opportunity exploration, and there's something called easy money and some hard money. A lot of survey into the SME, especially the SME in Germany. Why Germany SME can last more than 100 years and achieve outstanding result in terms of the value they are creating, also the market capitalization they are in. Of course, they are using the hedgehog concept. They are very focused and focused on develop something that they are very good at, and going very deep into their value chain to provide that kind of service. But most of the SME in German, they spend something like the hard dollar. They put their they invest a lot into exploration. For the dollar impact is high, but the likelihood of success is low. That's why they call it R&D dollar. The R&D is the one they have put a lot of reinvestment to create to continue to create the value. SME in Malaysia, I think they are less on the R&D dollar. They are more on very short-term mindset. So a lot of SME are hit hard during this period because they never innovate fast enough. Even after the pandemic hit, they never innovated fast enough to stay alive, and never innovated fast enough to be more resilient, to be able to adapt into what customer wants now. So because their culture, the core value of the business are not so much in keeping the team focused on solving the problem of the customer. So their adaptation and resilient in this pandemic are very slow, and look at the restaurant opportunity in the R&D dollar. Instead of just selling the pre-packed meal, they could innovate to have subscription meal to take over the core restaurant, and to take over the core restaurant. There might be one more, never mind. So these are the value they keep exploring. Just like a bullet, not everyone will succeed, but then some may value by the customer. That's why you follow up with the Cannonball. So we have finished from first who then what, the hedgehog concept, flying bullet and Cannonball, and the last it will be the 20-mile march on your right hand side. This is where we use to measure the performance of the entrepreneur. If you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have a priority. So entrepreneur need to limit their priorities, because the bullet, you're going to use up more bullet, use up more oxygen if you don't prioritize your resources. Greatness is first and foremost a matter of concentration and discipline. Also, discipline in the journey of entrepreneurs are very important, and normally, if we're talking about priority, we're talking about the 3 things that I'm committed to implement. What are the 3 things, and by when you should accomplish? So not only the team having the accountability to finish the 3 things. It could be a 3 things every month, it could be 3 things every day, it could be the 3 big things that for this year. but important by when we need to accomplish. And this leads us to the action plan. Looking at now, the next 6 months, what could you do? And then from January to December, what next year, what could you do? The short term 23, 24, and then 25. So 1% of strategy, 99% of execution. What are the 3 things you need to commit for your action plan? So that's the whole thing of my sharing is where you start, how to win, and what kind of resources and strategy you need to apply. We start looking at vision, the core value, the behind, and then using the strategy of first who, then what, the hedgehog concept, the flying bullet and cannonball, and the 20-mile march, and level 5 leadership. And more importantly at this time is to have more courageous leadership, to stay alive, to focus on our capability, and to have business model innovation. So cash is king, so we need to check our cash reserve from time to time as we continue to shoot the bullet and followed by the cannonball. And value creation is need to keep innovating, focus on growth, because growth is what makes a company to stay alive, because once you are growing, you'll be closer of reaching your vision. So to remind everyone again, in the short term is to stay alive. In the long run, a little less of strategy, a little bit more of action. Don't forget that it's time to work on the 3 things that you're committed to implement. And this is United Airlines bring back the supersonic air travel last week. And if I use this to explain and why to 24% of business will forever change. First of all, as they scale, they need to have more courageous as a leader in this pandemic. And there will be problem, there will be opportunity, and there will be fear as the journey. But most importantly is to look at growth, is to look at courageous and opportunity, and to find growth. And as they will see problem, but how do they handle problem is keep improving on the problem. But there will be fear, but asking yourself what stop you from moving forward? What is obstacle you are facing? And this will also remind them about the hedgehog. Are you passionate of what you are doing or not? Are you gifted on doing the things or not? Is a customer that you have maintained a relationship with them or not, knowing that what they want or not? So these are the things will be help you to lessen your fear. So that's end of my presentation. So I will open up for question. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.